Hello everyone, thanks for joining me again today. Today we are going to learn how to paint hair, and this also can apply to doing fur, longer fur or shorter fur. I am starting with a fan brush here. It's wet and the paper is dry, and I'm just grabbing some of the yellow ochre and I'm just pulling it through with my fan brush. When I come to a curve, I twist my brush so I go in a different direction and gives it more of a natural flow that way. And now I'm going to switch over to my number 2 round to do some of the fine hairs that frame her face. I'm working with yellow ochre, Vandyke brown, and warm sepia today. Now, when it comes to doing hair or fur, it's all about the layers. Takes a little more time to do it, but if you're patient and consistent, you should have a pretty good outcome. I'm just adding a little more yellow ochre through here. So we're going to be doing a lot of layering here, and I've got almost my first layer complete. Now that that is dried, I am going to now take my fan brush again, dipping it in the warm sepia and Vandyke brown mixture, and again just bringing my fan brush down, following the lines that are previously there. Twisting my brush as I go around the curves. Okay, now I'm going to grab my number 2 round and I'm going to add in some of that Vandyke brown. Now I'm adding this darker brown around the edges of her face where the light wouldn't be hitting, basically, so it would be darker there. And I'm filling in some of the areas through the hair. Now that that's dried, I'm going to take a layer of yellow ochre. I've got a wet round number 6, I think, brush, and I'm just kind of filling in a lot of the areas here because I want her to look more of a brown or dark blonde, and I have a lot of white areas still. So now I am just filling in with a nice thin layer of the yellow ochre, and that's going to give a nice consistent flow to her hair, and it's going to make it look nice and full and thick and not so stringy. I'm adding a little darker layer of the yellow ochre in the areas where you would have shadows. Now I'm taking the tip of my Filbert brush while my paper is still wet, and I'm just putting in a few lines, not a lot of pressure, just a little pressure to make a little indent where the wet paint will now fill in and make darker lines. And I am wetting the tip of my brush, the very tip of my brush, the handle part, as I go a little bit because my paint is starting to dry. So I'm just dipping it in the water occasionally. And that's kind of helping me to get the effect that I want. Not a little too much, so I just dab it with my cloth. Now I'm gonna grab some more of that Vandyke brown, and I'm gonna start filling in a little more because I think I want her hair to be a little darker, leaving some of the areas lighter where the light would be hitting. Just putting in some shadowing here. And a little bit of the warm sepia for the darker shadow areas. And again, the tip of my Filbert brush just to draw a few lines through there for that dark sepia to fall into. Just some more touch-ups around her face. Darker areas around the ear. Filling in some more shadowing areas. Now I'm just pulling a little bit of color out where I may want a little more light hitting her hair. Just with my wet round brush, I'm just pulling a little bit away. Just adding a little bit of highlights here. Now I'm going to keep adding some layers to this. I want her to be a little, have a little more depth to it. And it's a long process, so I will show you the finished product at the end. But in the meantime, keep practicing, keep painting, and enjoy the process along the way. Don't let it frustrate you, just enjoy it. It's very relaxing, and you learn every day. And this is the finished product. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.